Fala galera, sejam bem-vindos a mais um episódio do nosso MTCast. E hoje o primeiro episódio com uma atleta internacional, a Ellie Salthouse, australiana. Bom, a Ellie Salthouse mora em Boulder, então falou com a gente agora depois de uma sequência de 3 provas. Ela fez o Mundial de 70.3, depois 70.3 Augusta e 70.3 Memphis. Então ela contou um pouquinho, ela está numa uma temporada sensacional, então de 9 largadas ela ganhou 8 provas. Ela só perdeu o Mundial e isso ainda está doendo um pouco. Mas foi um papo muito legal, conhecer um pouco da história dela no triatlo. Ela começou no triatlo com 11 anos. É uma história bem curiosa como ela começou. Está aqui no podcast, a gente fala bastante disso. Como o episódio está em inglês, então quem estiver ouvindo a gente nas plataformas de áudio aqui só em inglês, tá bom? E no YouTube o episódio está legendado, tá bom? Então áudio sempre em inglês e no YouTube com as legendas em português. Beleza? Bom, como o episódio começa já direto em inglês, eu vou falar agora dos nossos patrocinadores, porque não faz sentido traduzi-los, né? Falar em inglês para depois falar em português. Então, esse episódio também traz 2 novos patrocinadores para o nosso podcast. O primeiro é a Easelabs, que você já conhece de outros conteúdos que a gente gerou sobre CBD. Então, a Easelabs agora é nossa parceira também no podcast. Vou deixar o link dos 2 episódios aqui que a gente conversou sobre o tema. A Easelabs é uma indústria farmacêutica especializada em produtos de cannabis. Então, aqui no QR Code, quem tiver no YouTube, tá o link do Instagram deles. E eu vou deixar o link também aqui na descrição do episódio, para vocês seguirem lá e ficarem ligados, que lançam em dezembro o primeiro produto em farmácia. Então, vai ser bem legal. E o nosso outro patrocinador também, novo patrocinador, é a Z2 Foods, que mandaram até canequinha aqui, meu parceiro Vitor. A Z2 Foods está chegando no mercado agora, desenvolvendo os melhores e mais saborosos produtos de performance e endurance, produto nacional, então bem legal. Cliquem aqui na descrição do evento, do episódio, tá o link deles para vocês receberem a newsletter em primeira mão, quando vai ser os lançamentos, quais sabores, quais produtos. Eu sei alguns, mas não posso falar, o Vitor não me autorizou, então assinem essa newsletter para vocês saberem aqui tudo em primeira mão e também deixar eu seguir o canal deles no Instagram, o perfil deles, perdão, no Instagram, vocês saberem todas essas novidades, um produto que está bem legal, estou bem ansioso para experimentar. E claro, não deixem de seguir o nosso canal, compartilhar com os amigos, ativar os sininhos, comentar. Então, é uma série agora, a gente vai trazer vários entrevistados, atletas internacionais, tá? Então, quem que vocês querem ver aqui, pode jogar alto que a gente vai atrás. Então, agradecer também agora em português, agradecer em inglês no episódio APTO, por proporcionar também que a gente falasse com a Ellie. Enfim, tem muita gente boa vindo aí. Bom, sem mais delongas, espero que vocês curtam esse episódio mais do que especial com a australiana Ellie Salthouse. Hi guys, welcome to this very special edition of our podcast, and from Boulder, Colorado, actually at Boulder, Colorado, we have Ellie Salthouse. Hi Ellie, how are you doing?
Hi, thanks for having me. I'm doing well.
Thank you for having us and being our first international guest, like I was telling you before. So
we started exciting!
High level.
And the benchmark has been set high.
Yeah. That's true. And I also like to thank the PTO for putting us together. Like they were very kind, like to put us to talk. So thank you, PTO, again. And so how is recovering? So 3 weeks in a row. It's kind of tough, 3 weeks.
It is, definitely. The third race was not easy by any means, but funnily enough, I actually felt the best in the swim and the bike on the third race. Not so much the run. I think the wheels fell off a little bit on the run, but I actually felt pretty good considering 3 races in 3 weeks or less. And now I've been a couple of days recovering. I'm taking 2 weeks off now, so no training allowed. Just going to be a normal person for a little while. It's going well so far. I'm just enjoying myself, enjoying being back in Boulder. I arrived here last night. So I'm hoping we'll get to do some exciting things over the next couple of weeks before getting back into training.
So no workout at all, just like a little bit, but having fun, not looking for the power meter.
The only thing I'm allowed to do is walk. I can manage that.
Oh, that's awesome to hear, because I know a lot of amateur athlete age groupers that they don't take a break ever. And
Yeah, no, I don't love taking a break either, but it's definitely necessary for the body and the mind too, to be able to do things that you wouldn't normally get to do, spend time with family, friends, that kind of thing. And yeah, and then just let the body recover and refresh for the next season.
do you like to do this kind of block, like 3 week block or some like races in a row?
To be honest, this is my first. I've never raced 2 races in 2 weeks, let alone 3 in 3. So yeah, it was my first time racing back to back. And yeah, I mean, I enjoyed it, but I'm definitely in need of some recovery.
Yeah, I was watching the Memphis race. It was like wet, really dangerous on the bike, and I
Yeah,
saw.
I mean, it was definitely actually I would say it was pretty good racing conditions because it wasn't too hot. So the week leading into the race, I had been in Memphis training and it had been really warm. So we were actually really lucky to have a nice cool day despite the rain, but I guess that's all part of racing. And the course wasn't too dangerous or anything with the rain. So, I mean, a few people fell off with slippery conditions, but you just had to be careful around the corners.
Yeah, yeah, and how do you feel about? Did you already like dig up digest the world championship, or are you still like?
I think that's going to take me a little while, but yeah, to be honest, the reason I did the 2 races afterwards back to back was because I really just wanted to straight away put the disappointment of Worlds behind me and have 2 really good races to finish off my season, so that I wasn't ending on the disappointment of Worlds. So I did that, which was great, but obviously I would have traded all of my wins for this year for a better result at Worlds.
Yeah, it was something that we will talk about it later, but I imagine like you were like fueled by angry, like, okay, I'm just too angry, I need to set my power, and that's it.
Exactly right. Yeah, I had a lot of fuel to the fire after Worlds, so it worked out okay for me.
Yeah, no, I was studying to interview you, and I heard a podcast that you were talking to Joanne Murphy on try talking sport, and it
Yeah.
was like 1 month ago, and you already have 15 wins at the half distance, so now 1 month later you have 17, so it's not a
Yeah.
bad month. Like,
Not bad. It's 8 wins from 9 starts this year. So it's been my best year ever, despite Worlds.
yeah, it's never perfect. Like you have
No,
to. I
just
know.
unfortunately, the worst race had to be on the biggest stage.
Yeah, and like talk about the beginning of your career. Like I heard at the same podcast that you start triathlon with 11 years old.
Yeah, started at 11. I just saw on the back of a cereal box an advertisement for kids triathlon, a come and try in Brisbane City, where I grew up. And I asked my parents to sign me up online, and they did, and off we went. I had always run as a kid, little athletics, school athletics, cross country, that kind of thing. And I knew how to swim, but I wasn't a great swimmer. But I had never ridden a bike. Well, I knew how to ride a bike, but I had never ridden more than probably like up and down the street. So I had to borrow a bike from a friend's mum, and yeah, off I went down to this triathlon. And yeah, I really, really enjoyed it. The most disappointing thing for me on that day was that I crossed the finish line and there was no places. Like they didn't tell you where you came because it's like a kids everyone wins kind of situation. So I was like, I couldn't understand. But yeah, I really enjoyed that. So I asked mum and dad if they could find me a coach in the local area, so I could get better. And yeah, we found a local coach, and that was it. I signed up and been doing it ever since.
and how does sports works in Australia? Like you're young and you're trying to find a local coach. Do you have like a school of triathlon or school for each sport? How does it works?
No, so everything's fairly independent. So we have a lot of big like swim centers and that kind of thing. And then there's often multiple coaches that work out of the centers. So that was the case for me. There was a junior triathlon squad that was based out of my local swimming pool. So that's kind of how I knew about him, and I ended up joining his squad, and he was my coach for 10 years from 11 to 21. So yeah, ended up being a great fit for me, and I really started to enjoy it and get better and build myself right from ITU junior ranks and then up into obviously WTC World Cup level racing. Before leaving him at 21.
No, it's nice to know how it works, because like each country works with the kids in the different way. Like now the USA, it's different, like they treat sports in a different way. So it's always nice to see it. And in Australia, you never heard about triathlon before this cereal box ad?
No, I had no idea what a triathlon was, to be honest. When I saw this advertisement, it obviously explained on there what the triathlon was, and because I like to swim and I like to run, I was like, oh, maybe I could do this. So yeah, that was, and obviously I had to find a bike, but once I did that, then I was excited for it.
No, because it's funny, we know like Australia is a big country for triathlon, and I imagine like you watch it on the TV, you had more on the TV, but maybe it was not like what we imagined, or it was, but you haven't touched it before though.
Yeah, no, I hadn't, but I think Australia is really strong in triathlon because we do have a lot of junior programs. So once you really look into it, there are quite a lot available, and obviously Triathlon Australia, and then obviously each different state in Australia has their own governing body. So it really encourages younger athletes to join, and they kind of encourage them to move through the ranks financially, and then by offering them opportunities as well. So yeah, we have a really strong junior program, and I think that's part of the reason why we have such a strong senior contingency as well.
Awesome. And I saw like in the beginning of the year, the Australian Triathlon Union, let's say, hired a coach. I forgot his name. Damn it. And he was the guy who was training everybody, like thinking about 2024. And so investing a lot on putting Australia back on, let's say, on the ITU level, on the top again.
Yeah, definitely. I think they have every 4 years a change in high performance coaches and directors. So just to, they have their Olympic period to help build particular athletes to the next Olympics. And then after that, they restructure the whole program based on their shortcomings or their strengths. So it's a forever evolving program. And I think that's why we have so many new athletes coming through and lots of, promise, I guess.
Yeah. And the sports also evolves, right? Because you had Australia as the big country, and then you have other countries learning with the Australian, and they get at the top, and then Australia learn it back. So
yeah, and as the sport evolves, obviously the athletes and coaches have to evolve with it too. So I think that's really important.
And how was the ITU career period? It's really stressful, isn't it? Like traveling every time. Everywhere.
Yeah, no, I had a great experience on the ITU circuit, I guess. I had a couple great results, but I think it just got, in the end, I just wasn't enjoying it as much as I wanted to be. And I wasn't getting the results for the work that I was putting in. So I raced on the ITU circuit from 2011 until 2015, I think. Yeah. And then before that, I raced the ITU junior circuit. So from 2008 to 2010. And I was lucky enough to go to the Youth Olympic Games in that period as well. So I definitely had some incredible experiences, some opportunities, but yeah, in the end, what caused my switch over to the half distance was just, I fell out of love with the sport, and I just needed a change, to be honest.
Yeah, it was really nice to hear that you took like 6 months completely away from triathlon. Like, I don't want it anymore. I'm going to sell my bike. I don't want to hear about it. And then let's talk about this part. Like, how did you enjoy it? Like, was it good to take this pressure away and refresh? Of course, now we see the result, but how was like on that period?
Well, I think I just got to a crossroads, and I guess I could see all my friends and those close to me, were getting like jobs and earning money and I just felt like I was a bit behind everybody at the time, and I just really wasn't enjoying where I was at. I was living out of a suitcase, traveling around, and I was quite injured as well. I just wasn't, I felt like I was putting in a lot of work and I wasn't getting the reward for that. So that's when I left my previous coach. And actually, I was living in Spain at the time, and I came home, went back to Australia. I took 6 months away from the sport. I didn't know that I was going to come back to the sport. So it was an indefinite retirement. But yeah, I had every intention to. I got my personal training certificates. I started studying again. I just wanted to pursue different avenues and see where it took me. But after about 6 months in the sport, away from the sport, that's when I really missed it. And I knew that I had unfinished business.
No, awesome. And it's good because sometimes I want to sell my bike and I'm always afraid, like I'm never coming back again, but maybe
I don't recommend 6 months away from the sport. It was a long road back.
Yeah, because you have to come back not as you never done it before, but you have to get back on track. It take a while.
Exactly. You're basically a blank canvas. Yeah.
And then you were in Australia, still in Australia, and how you got to Boulder, how you end up going to Boulder.
Yeah, so when I decided to come back to triathlon, I contacted my mentor growing up, Loretta Harrod, and I asked her to coach me, but she had just had her first child at the time, so her priorities obviously didn't really lie with triathlon anymore. But she is best friends with Siri Lindley, my current coach, so she put me in contact with Siri, who happened to be on training camp in Australia at the same time. So we met up on the Gold Coast, actually. And I said to her I wanted to come back to triathlon, and I had been away for 6 months. So I was basically starting from scratch. And she took me on straight away, and I started training with her team, and she told me to move to Boulder in a couple of weeks. And that was basically how it happened. I ended up moving to Boulder at the start of 2014. And that was my first experience of snow, as well as the US. So no, it was great. And I raced ITU for 2 years under Siri's coaching.
So you just pick up your bag and move to Boulder, and that's it. Like, okay, let's try this thing.
Yeah, moved to Boulder to be with Siri and the squad, and for 6 months racing the circuit all over the world.
And you got back to the ITU a little bit more.
I did. I raced the ITU. In those 2 years, we were able to race a couple of World Cups. We never quite got to the WTC level of racing, but we had a couple good top 10s at the World Cups, but still nothing that was satisfying for the amount of work that I was putting in. And
then you decided on 2016 to move to the half distance.
Yeah, so the end of 2015, I came to kind of another crossroads again, and Siri and I sat down, and I was like, look, I'm really not enjoying this again. I think I'm going to have to either, try something new, or I'm going to have to pursue something entirely different and leave triathlon behind. So Siri suggested I try the half distance racing, which I had always said that I would never, ever do. So I raced my first half at the end of 2015, off of no training for it, just training for ITU. So it was a very painful experience. Didn't actually enjoy it at all. But Siri said to me, how about we give 2016 one really, really good year, one like probation year, just to see if you like it, to see if you're successful at it. And then if you still want to leave the sport, then that's your call. At least you had a good go at it. So January of 2016, I won my first half and went on to win 4 more halves that year. So obviously when you're winning, you start enjoying it a lot more. And here I am.
It's kind of easier to keep up. So, before we move on your career, and how was it to move from sunny Brisbane to Boulder and face the altitude?
It's actually quite similar here, to be honest. Australia and the US are quite similar in the lifestyle. Obviously, when I first moved to Boulder, I experienced for a couple months some snow here and there, which was new for me. I'd never seen snow before. But yeah, I mean, I only come to Boulder for the summer months, and then I go back to Australia for our summer months. So I think I have the best of both worlds.
Yeah, now you live the summer life. You never
Yeah,
see snow
summer
anymore.
all year round.
Now you can come to
Which is
Brazil as
why
well.
it's 25 Celsius and I'm in a
Yeah.
jumper.
No, I was preparing a joke, like you never bought a jacket on your life and then you have a coat.
Yeah, and I'm wearing one.
Yeah, man.
The only one that I own.
So now you're going back to Australia, and when, in the end of the month or beginning?
To be honest,
When it started to snow?
I'm not sure yet, because obviously the Australian border is semi-closed, semi-open at the moment. They're trialing some new opportunities to open it up for residents. So I'm waiting to get confirmation that I'll actually be able to go back. But I'm not sure if I'm going to stay around and start a build back to Clash Daytona in December of this year, or whether I'm going to go back to Australia. So Siri and I are going to have a good chat about that and plan the rest of the year. Obviously, I'm going to take these 2 weeks to fully rest and reboot. But yeah, after that, still not sure exactly what the rest of the season's going to entail. But yeah, I'll definitely either be heading back to Australia in November or December.
Awesome. You talk about the COVID situation there. I've heard like some things were canceled again, and it's coming back every time.
Yeah, so the Australian border has been closed since March of 2020 at this point. So actually only last week it was announced that the 14-day hotel quarantine is going to be stopped for fully vaccinated residents. So I'm hoping that when I'm able to go back, I can do the 7-day in-home quarantine instead of the hotel. So that will be great. But only certain states are trialing it at the moment. And where I live in Queensland, it's not one of those states yet. So that's still fully shut. There are some flights going back at the moment from the US to Australia, but they're still very few and they're still very expensive. So a lot of flights are still being cancelled. So I am waiting to make sure that they're actually flying before I go and book mine.
No, I think you should come to Brazil. It's going to be summer as well. We have the open border, so you just stay
you told
here.
me it's not warm yet. I can't come there yet.
Andrea, you know Andrea, like Andrea Lopes, the Brazilian.
Yeah, I do. Yeah,
he can give you all the tips, and you come here to keep your summer life
okay, I could have a
at the
resident
top.
tour guide.
So 2015 to 16, you moved to the half distance. And this is a funny fact that you see on triathlon, because you see triathletes like developing, and then they are good. They're good at their job, but not at the right distance sometimes. Like we saw Daniela Reef, like she was okay on the short distance, and then it is who she is. And Frodeno, okay, he was an Olympic gold medalist. But then now he's maybe one of the best ever. So it's kind of funny when you have this moment and you find yourself at the right job, but at the right distance as well, isn't it?
Yeah, I think you just have to find what works for your body. And I guess as you age and mature, things change, as far as your speed or endurance and things like that. So I think you just have to adapt to what suits your body and what suits your training technique. And everybody's really different in that respect. So I think you just have to find what works for you.
Does it hurt more or less to train for half distance instead of ITU?
Oh, good question. Actually, my training's quite similar. Definitely the swimming is similar. There's a lot more miles on the bike. I would say it's probably hurts more going out and racing for 4 and a bit hours for me. I do prefer like the short, sharp intervals as opposed to the longer intervals. But yeah, I mean, I enjoy it more, but I'd say it hurts more.
Do you see yourself like doing any like Super League distance race just for
I've actually done one Super League event in Penticton a couple of years ago. We raced the first day and then it unfortunately got cancelled with wildfires. But it is something that interests me in kind of when I'm winding down my season to, just add some different things, different events, mix in some different distances. I do still love the shorter, sharper distances and that super sprint kind of format. So yeah, I mean, it's definitely something I like to do. It's just finding races that fit around my schedule that make it difficult.
Yeah, you want to win all the race all the races and win all the races and have distance. So
don't we all?
Yeah, no, because I was also checking the prize money for the Super League this last month, and it was like $1.2 million. So you kind of get the desire of competing sometimes on the short distance, like not sometimes having to go through the ITU process, like.
Yeah. Traveling. I mean, sometimes we have to just accept that we don't do this sport for the money.
Yeah.
But the PTO are doing a great job in bringing a lot more exposure and finances into the sport. So hopefully across all distances, we're going to have equal opportunity to earn a living out of the sport.
Yeah, and that's a good I'm going to say good subject, because the PTO give money and also have a good money, so you can keep like the job, being an athlete as a job, a real job, like getting money, because athletes it is a job, but people often have to do 2 or 3 more jobs to get the money they need to go through the period. And now with the Super League paying, it's not like, okay, you don't need it is, we don't do it for the money, but there is some money available. So it's good when you have the competition with more money. So it's a good scenario.
Right. Yeah, so it definitely allows for athletes to focus on the training and obviously what's required to go into the racing to better themselves on the race course. And then it does actually allow for a lot more athletes to be able to be professional athletes because of the amount of financial assistance that's involved. So I think that's great that it opens up opportunities for not just the best in the world, but a lot more athletes that are further down the rankings as well.
And speaking about like the PTO, I've heard at the podcast, and you say like everybody asked me about the rivalry with Holly Lawrence, and
I knew this was coming.
No, I will start from, let's say, the end of it, but it was really funny. Actually, the whole scenario that the PTO, the Collins Cup had put on, like Ian Frodeno messing up with Sam Long and all these trash talking kind of thing. It's funny because you do imagine, oh my God, they hate each other. Is it like this? And then you girls start swimming together and like almost like elbowing each other. And it was like,
yeah,
oh man, they really do hate each other. But
yeah.
I know it's just a fun fact. But how was it to keep up this thing going on to the race? Does this bother you? When people start talking about rivalry with someone that is not a rivalry?
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, Holly and I, we're friends. We hang out and talk and meet up at races and things like that. So there isn't a huge rivalry. Obviously, the reason the rivalry came about was because of some words that were thrown around, but which were true. So there is that, but it was definitely exaggerated for hysteria and obviously to make for some interesting coverage. But yeah, I mean, we always have a great matchup, Holly and I. We are very similar in abilities. So I think having that rivalry and then having our close abilities also kind of fed off of each other and made for some really interesting racing and some very viewer-worthy television.
Yeah, but it was really nice seeing. And then at the beginning, you guys were really close. But of course, you guys know each other from racing. So it's a tactical decision as well. So, but it was nice. And also, you were one of the few girls that are specialists on that distance, right? Because most of go to Ironman races as well, like full distance. And you guys are specialists on that one. So
yeah, exactly. I think that's what also creates a bit more of a rivalry between the two of us, because we have very similar goals, very similar training. Obviously, as you said, we are specialists in this distance. So I think we are quite similar athletes, and we're both very stubborn athletes. So we do like to put it all on the line when we have to, and out on the race course, there are no friends.
I like this. This is going to be the clickbait of the podcast.
On the race course, there are no friends.
Yeah. we gotta have some views, some clicks, some like
a tagline. You need.
And how was it at the Collins Cup for you? Like, how do you see the whole event? How it evolves? How do you see it for the sport as well?
Yeah, I think the Collins Cup was incredible for the sport of triathlon, as well as the athletes involved. It obviously brought a bunch of exposure to the athletes, to the sport, and then it allowed people who have never seen a triathlon before or have never been involved in triathlon the opportunity to see it in, I guess, a very spectator-friendly limelight, and a format that isn't very, very well known. So, yeah, I hope that the PTO can continue having events like that bring triathlon to the forefront of professional sport and provide the exposure that triathlon deserves.
And I would say, like, for me as a viewer, it was really nice to see like several races happening at the same time. So it was nice because I was watching Memphis, for example. It was raining, so the camera could not get everybody at the same time. It was not easy, and sometimes it get boring because you're like, okay, you got to wait for 20 miles for the person to show up. And then every time, like, is someone starting the swimming or at the bike, or someone is overtaking someone. So I'm a triathlete as well, so I will watch whatever happens. But it's not just the dynamic to meet new people.
I think the format at the PTO definitely made it exciting. And as you said, it allowed people who aren't probably in the triathlon world to be able to see something that's a little more exciting than the traditional 70.3 or full distance Ironman that can sometimes be a little monotonous.
Yeah, exactly. And we would be at the same team because Brazil and Australia on the international team. So
yeah, there we go Team International.
But maybe we had Pamela Oliveira. She was the one that was as close to get the spot, but there was also the captain choice and the borders, and well, so it's not easy, but maybe next year.
Yeah.
And and how do you see the PTO now with the bonus thing and also the women equality? How do you see, you're young, but you've been a lot of time at the sport, and how do you see these evolving and these questions, the equality question, being seen on the triathlon now?
Yeah, I think PTO has done a great job of that. Obviously, women's equality has been at the forefront of professional sport for quite some time now. Triathlon has traditionally been a gender equal sport for the most part, but I think now that PTO is bringing women's equality really in the limelight, I hope it encourages other sports as well to consider equal opportunities for both genders. But I think what the PTO are doing for triathlon is incredible and providing everyone equal opportunity to participate, to earn a living, and to enjoy the exposure that comes with being a professional athlete.
And you said at the podcast that you're like a racer, the big goals racer, and then we go back to the World Championship, and it's been I wrote down somewhere, I don't remember. There were so many titles from you that I was writing things, and I don't have enough paper. Just kidding. But it's like your fifth World Champion, right? Championship.
I think my fourth, actually.
Last year it was vacant.
Yeah, my fourth World Champs. Yeah.
And so how do you see? What do you have you done like your let's say your self feedback session, and like where the
I've definitely done a debrief.
The debrief.
Yeah, I mean, Worlds was obviously very disappointing for me. I honestly don't know what happened on the day. I think it was just a bad day for me. It happens to everyone, and it was really just unfortunate that it happened on the biggest stage of the year. But I also think, I'm very lucky in that it put things into perspective for me, and it gave me the opportunity to really race with a lot of fire burning in the next couple of races. And I guess having a World Champs every year, it allows me to work harder for the next one, and not want to make the same mistake again in St. George again next year.
Does that St. George, does it fit you? Do you feel like it's a race place for you?
Yeah, traditionally I really like a hilly bike and run course. So the course actually fits me very well and suits my racing style. But yeah, I didn't really get to show my full potential out there this year. So I have raced in St. George a couple of times before, and I have actually had some really successful results there. So this year, unfortunately, wasn't a reflection of the hard work that I put into it, but hopefully next year I can go and redeem myself.
And you said you're the person that pressures you more. Like nobody's gonna put more pressure on you than yourself. And how do you deal with it? Like, do you have also help on this kind of the mental side, mental training, or no? You're just going.
Yeah, I think having raced for so long, I mean, I've been in the sport 17 years now, so that's a lot of racing and a lot of years to come to terms with the pressure. But yeah, I mean, the more pressure you put on yourself, sometimes it can go one of two ways. You can thrive, or you can cause you to have a not so great day, as it did for me. So I think potentially I put too much pressure on myself leading into Worlds, but yeah, I mean, I definitely have a strong support network around me, and Siri Lindley, my coach, obviously being a huge part of that. She has a degree in psychology, and she's obviously a huge help on that side of sport as well. And she helps me a lot with the pressure and the mental aspect of training and racing. So I confide in her a lot in the lead up to big races like that.
So she's like two jobs with the same at the same price.
Trust me,
so
she has multiple jobs.
Sometimes I'm like on my Instagram, and why am I following Tony Robbins? No, it's Siri Lindley talking about Tony Robbins.
She wears a lot of hats, and she's my biggest support, and very lucky to have her.
Yeah, she's a great coach. She had really big problems. The cancer two years ago, wasn't it? Something.
It was last year.
Last year, yeah.
She's 16 months post bone marrow transplant this month. Awesome. So yeah,
and she's every time very positive, very and she put pictures of you guys like, oh, I'm so proud of you. It's really
she's great. And the biggest reason for my successes. So I'm very grateful to have her in my corner.
It was worth it to move from Brisbane to Boulder to be with her.
Definitely, yeah. She's the biggest reason that I come back every year to have that face-to-face time with her. Obviously, it is hard being apart from your coach at times, and to have that face-to-face feedback is really important. So, yeah, I think having half the year with her and having her come to my sessions and be able to give that face-to-face feedback is really important.
Yeah, I also always see the famous garage when you guys put the treadmill and you guys like sweating, and she was like filming you guys just sweating, and she's like laughing. And
yeah, she likes to call it her gym, not her garage, because she thinks it's a selling point for her house now. It's an added extra.
It's been a while since I don't see these sessions.
Yeah, well, because I guess I left for St. George probably 2 weeks before the race, and then I've been racing 3 weekends in a row, so I haven't been in Boulder a whole lot. So yeah, it's been probably 5 weeks since I've been in the gym in the pain cave. So I'll be back there soon, I promise.
In 2 weeks, not now, not vacation.
Yeah, not in the next 2 weeks. If I am, I'm in trouble.
Yeah. And you said at the same podcast, so we got the information, but you said you're studying you aiming to be a nutritionist in the future.
Yeah, so I'm studying at the moment at
you were in uni.
Uni in Australia. You got it. So I'm about 3/4 through my degree, so I'm doing it at a very leisurely pace, so I might be there for another couple of years yet. But eventually I would love to, I think, be a dietitian and work with high-level athletes. I think I have a lot of resource and experiences that I can, help those athletes with. So that's the future goal. But right now, obviously, I'm loving triathlon, so that's the current goal.
And what would the Ellie Salthouse, the dietist, tell to the Ellie Salthouse, 11 years old, eating cereal? What do you say?
Eating cereal.
No
Probably
more.
don't put so much sugar on your cereal. No Nutella.
No Nutella.
No, I think she'd be very proud of her, and yeah, I think she'd be very grateful that she read that cereal box. I can tell you that much.
That was good sugar. Good sugar.
Yeah, there we go. It was worth it.
And so you the Nutella you do have on your race breakfast day. You have Nutella.
Yeah, so it's the only time I eat Nutella is race morning. So I have Nutella and banana on toast for race morning.
So that's why you raced that much on the last 3 weeks. Like
you're
angry, you need Nutella.
I need to keep racing.
I do need Nutella a lot, so let's race.
Yeah, I had to buy a big tub of Nutella and slowly going through it.
Is it easy to find Nutella in the US as well?
Everywhere. Nutella is a global phenom, I can tell you that much.
And well, I think is one of the questions that you get most of the time, but are you aiming to go to the long distance to the Ironman?
I get asked this a lot, and the answer is no, not yet.
Not yet.
No, I mean, I always said I would never become a long course athlete, and now it's my job. So never say never, but definitely not anytime soon. I still have obviously a lot of speed, and I'm still really enjoying the half distance. So that's where I want to stay and specialize for a while, and then just see what happens down the track. If I have a desire to go to long course, then I'll give it a go. But right now I'm happy where I am, and that's where my passion lies, and that's where my goals lie.
So you can race more now. If you can repeat this year again, like, okay, let's put the world championship at a better spot, but 8 from 9 every year, it's not bad for also.
Yeah, I mean, if I could get those 8 including world champs, I mean, that would be that'll be about a year. But yeah, I mean, I definitely can't be disappointed with this year. I have had quite a lot of success, and as I said earlier, it's been my best year to date. So I'm very much looking forward to putting together my best day on a world championship and just seeing where I'm at against the best in the world, and what I can do.
And also, it has been a long season for you because you started down under. You started in Australia, and in March and
January.
Yeah,
right at the end of January.
Yeah, I had like overposting, like Ellie Salthouse overposting, because it was like long
I've been racing for 10 months this year. So obviously these 2 weeks, I was very much looking forward to these 2 weeks of rest for quite a while now. But yeah, that's why I'm still deciding whether I'll stay around and race one more race this year, or I'll fully shut it down and just start building up to next year.
We talk about now. I want to go to the gossip side. If you have any inside information at all, because we were talking about this year, of course, last week about the Kona move, not the Kona, the Ironman World Championship moving from. It's kind of synonymous. It's hard to say the World Championship outside Kona, but when they split it in Kona for the 2 days, do you think they're gonna do anything special to the women, on the sense that they did it to the half Ironman, like the Women for Tri program, that they added more women to the women day, let's say like race day? Do you see they doing it again? Do you have any inside information?
I don't. Unfortunately, I have no insider information. I hope they do. I hope they add more women to the start list, give more women an opportunity to race. Having the 2-day format, it's great for the sport because it gives everybody equal opportunity to race their own race without having influences, outside influences, I guess. For instance, having the males and the females mixed together can often interfere with the racing when they overlap and things like that. So I think having the men and women broken up on 2 days is really good, not only for the races but for the spectators as well. It means that obviously the women can spectate the men and vice versa. So yeah, I think it's a good thing.
Yeah, as again, as a viewer, it was awesome to see the 2-day races because we can focus on everything that is happening on both races, and we have more information. So it's the double triathlon. So double broadcasting is better than one broadcasting.
Yeah.
So
2 days of racing is always better than one.
Well, at the end of the podcast, I always like to leave a more like a philosophical question. And what's your dream right now?
Well, my ultimate dream is to become 70.3 world champion. I'm not letting go of that one.
I saw that coming.
Yeah, it's no secret.
No, it's going to happen. But it was nice to see like your post and like shit happens. It was when I saw your post, like shit happened, and I was like, okay, she's really pissed.
Yeah, I mean that's the only explanation for my day. I still don't have a better one.
No, it's good to see the not good on this sense, but like it happens, and people do have bad days, and of course you get pissed off because it never happened on a training session, and it happened on the big day. So
it could have happened on any of the other races.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's been a lot, like 9 races.
I think bad races are inevitable, but if you can limit the amount and the frequency, I think that's what equals success.
Ellie, I want to thank you a lot to like having us, talking to us, being our first guest. So like we said at the beginning, the benchmark it's high now. We're really nice talking to you, having you, and we expect to see you in Brazil, maybe one day. You convinced me now with this talk of all the beaches. Now I have to come. Yeah, I was telling now recording, like there's a lot of Brazilian in Australia, so we are now in the same team at the Collins Cup. So
I mean, there's no reason I can't come now. We're practically family.
Yeah, I do eat Team Tom as well. So
you're Australian.
No, right. It was the best thing I had in Australia. Like I brought some to Brazil. I brought some to Brazil, and I gave to my friend, but like only one of those. Like no, the box is mine. Like just
I'm not sharing. Once you start, you can't stop. They're dangerous.
Exactly. But really nice having you and talking to you, knowing a little bit more. So you can say any final words also to your Brazilian fan base.
Hello, my Brazilian fans and friends. I hope to be there one day. Nice chatting with you all, and hopefully I'll see you in person at a race, if not on vacation one day.
Better on vacation because you have more time.
Yeah, vacation. I need to enjoy the beach.
Yeah, exactly. And we have Natal as well, so you can.
Oh, I'm there. Book me a flight.
Thanks a lot, guys. This was now at the end of it. I mistake the English. Like,
it's okay. It's perfect.
Yeah, I'm nervous about all this beach thing, and like I need the vacation as well. So maybe. But
well, thanks for having me.
So you are always welcome. If you have any side information, I forgot the bike thing. I asked everybody in Brazil were like asking me about the track bike, so I asked Ellie, and she said, "I don't have it yet."
The hottest topic going around at the moment. No, I actually received my bike next week, so I don't have a whole lot of inside information other than that it has disc brakes, has some extra storage options. So I'll keep you posted when I receive it next week, and no doubt I will be posting a bunch of pictures, so you'll be able to get a full recap of the new bike.
Did you block all the girls like on Instagram? Like, I don't want to see your bike. Like, stop posting your bike until I get mine.
No, I've been like zooming in on everyone's bikes, trying to see what I'm in for.
Awesome, Ellie. Thanks a lot. And guys, this was our podcast. Keep following us, subscribe, hit the like button, and also Ellie Salthouse. She wants more followers as well. And you can send more Nutella to her as well, but only on Wednesday.
I take bribes. I follow back for bribes.
Thank you, Ellie. Bye-bye.
Thanks for having me. Bye.